I know this is going to be controversial, but this format, I am axing the ROTA. I'm cutting ROTA, as well as emergency call. Now hear me out, hear me out. Yo, hero player! We are back from a short hiatus. I mean, look, this format is just stale, like I said in my previous Ninja video. That's why I started playing Ninja, because it's stale, it's boring. It's not even so much the lack thereof a ban list for me, but in that time away from playing hero, it helped me develop anti-Joel updated hero strategy going forward until further notice, until Joel falls off. This is going to withstand not just the ban list, but the upcoming ban list, but also thereafter the Joel format. I believe that it's still going to linger. So in preparation to that, I think I have a newer idea on how we can standardize playing against Joel, or at least until it eventually and hopefully falls off, so that we can start partying again. Michael Bowden back here once again, and I am your host, Destiny Hero Mike, baby. And welcome back to D-Time! We're here, baby. As always, D-Time. And in more ways than one. And a very, very important announcement. Deck boxes and play mats, all that. So the factory that we've been waiting on, it is finally done. I'm waiting to show you guys some pictures. I'm waiting to do a formal update. I'm getting a lot of emails, a lot of messages, things like that. Please trust me, it's on the way. I've been saying that for a while. I know it looks like I'm just stalling for time, but really I have no power over when they tell me they're gonna make it from when they start. Because this project started back in around May or so. Now it's already the end of August. So I'm just as frustrated because I need to get this out to you guys. Literally is the only reason why we have not started the next Neos project, because we need to finish what we started here first with this mirror match project. So if you guys please just be patient with me, it's on the way. That they finally finished, I promise. I'll even show screenshots if I have to. Boom, throwing that on the screen from what the factory is telling me. It's already done, just waiting for them to get ready to ship it to us. Then I can ship it to you guys. Gonna be getting back to emails, but again, I don't want to just get back to emails and give as if I'm giving false or empty promises, because I'm not. I'm only going by what the factory is telling me. And also keep a note, they also supply a lot of other, famous YouTubers. I don't want to say any names, but if I'm facing a delay, so are they. It's all a lot of the same suppliers. So please bear with me, please be patient. But we are back. We are back in full effect. And always, as always, thank you guys so much. The D-Time YouTube channel memberships. Guys, I'm literally thinking about a Patreon. What do you guys think about a Patreon, more in depth, where we can do test hands, things like that? I might even revamp my Discord. Yes, we do have a Discord channel. Currently, it's free, but I'm gonna include it with, I'm thinking about including it with the Patreon. Something like that, close it down, maybe make it smaller, get rid of a lot of the inactive users, and just really repurpose it for the Patreon. That way I can be more interactive with my fans there, Patreon supporters there, and YouTube membership supporters there alike. So let me know what you guys think about that. I might even start a formal poll. Let me know what you guys think about that. This is more or less an update video, also more about my findings. And speaking of my findings, segueing into my findings is that I literally think that Shadow Mist, 3 Shadow Mists until Joe falls off, 3 Shadow Mists, follow me, is the way to go. I know it makes no sense. I know it sounds kind of like, what are you talking about? You've only ever talked about one Joe. Here's the problem with Hero and a lot of Hero players, myself included. We fail to adapt to their current meta. We'll keep the same strategies, things like that, that's worked for us, because it makes sense. We're going to stick to what's worked for us in the past, right? What's got us recent success in the past, but the format changes, and all we have to do is do minor tweaks, minor changes along with that. Joel is here now. Joel is the new Ash Blossom, and what I mean by that, in a lot of cases, some people have just completely thrown Ash back into the side deck and swapped it out for Joel in the main deck. Joel is the new Ash, and we have to move accordingly. We made videos on how to counter Ash with Ash Blossom with the likes of someone like Elemental Hero Blazeman. But now we really have to really combat this Joel without changing too much in the main hero deck, in the main hero line, without deviating too far, without doing some sort of crazy tech that's foreign to hero. We don't have to do that. And I think I came up with some sort of solution on how our main plays should be going forward. So let's get into it. All right, so before we get into today's discussion, just do us one quick favor. Give this video a thumbs up and comment. It's D time down in the comments below. We really appreciate that, guys. Really helps us out in the algorithm. But in today's discussion, you see Elemental Hero, Shadow Mist, and the Mass Change and Droll. Now, the reason why I bumped up to 3, because the main argument is, do we play 2 Shadow Mist or 1 Shadow Mist? And I think for this format, 3 Shadow Mist. Now, we can also add in Joel. We can also add in the Forbidden Droplet to get rid of, Shadow Mist's cost, and you're playing remaining 3. And we know that this card is really good. It's seen a lot of success in Hero. It's probably the best card in Hero ever for, a going second card. And, Blake, someone like Blake has seen a lot of success with this card. I think he won like 2 tournaments back to back, like undefeated, something like that. So the guy's an absolute monster. Big shout out to Blake. So go check him out. I gotta get his YouTube channel here, but go check him out. Really strong Hero player. Probably one of the best Hero players. Not probably one. He is one of the best Hero players. But we're not really so much talking about Forbidden Droplet. Now back to back to the discussion of Shadow Mist being 1 over 2 of. I think Shadow Mist is a 3 of. And I think we should even probably take out ROTA and an emergency call, because they both play into Joel and Lockbird. How many times have you been punished for activating the one card that's really good that's put to 1 is now kind of a detriment, and Joel and Lockbird is just very swingy whether they have it or not. Now just everything feels like a Joel and Lockbird to me. Everything feels like, remember when Joel and Lockbird is very similar to a Nibiru. It's very swingy for us. We gotta pray and hope they don't have it. So the best thing that we can do, whether they have it or not, is play as if they do have it. So now every time we play, we have to play as if the best way to play against Droll is to play as if they do have a Droll. Now, we're gonna go over steps, and kind of like this video will serve somewhat like a spreadsheet. It'll serve something like a spreadsheet on my way of dealing with the Joel and Lockbird. And we know that Joel and Lockbird has to go to the graveyard for cost. All right. So the synopsis. So we're gonna put Joel and Lock. We know what Joel and Lockbird does. After we add a card from the deck to the hand, except for during the draw phase, they discard it to the graveyard for cost. Now we can no longer add cards from the deck to the hand. So just to give you a pretense of just how devastating this card is against Hero. And in my hiatus, I think I want to maximize on this Shadow Mist idea by placing her to 3, which I'm not seeing anybody else do. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or take credit. I simply just want to share information, something that I came up with. That's all. So the idea of 3 Shadow Mists over and 3 Mass Change. Now, a lot of you guys are already agree on the idea of 3 Mass Change. I've been seeing a lot of Mass Change, a lot of Hero builds with 3 Mass Change at 3, or Mass Change being at 3. But usually we'll see the Shadow Mist at only 2 or 1, but I think it should be bumped up to 3, so that especially if we're going first, we can simply just get that normal summon, right? And then we activate Mass Change, target the Shadow Mist, and then we're gonna, as a result, bring out our Dark Law, send the Shadow Mist to the graveyard, and then we're gonna go ahead and add our hero, probably more than likely the fairest from the hand to the from the deck to the hand. And then now, because Dark Law is on the field, what it looks like is that because Joel has to go to the graveyard for cost, the Dark Law will prohibit that, because Dark Law, as you guys know, is basically a macrocosmos, one-sided for the opponent. Any card that would be sent to the opponent's graveyard is now banished, because Joel Lockbird cannot go to the graveyard now. She just cannot activate, and now we can just go unga bunga without worrying about Droll. So that is the synopsis, and I think maximizing the Shadow Mist at 3, just because since we're already doing 3 Mass Change, it maximizes us being able to just start with a Dark Law on the field. How awesome is that, right? without having to go into like mass change 2, I don't want to do that. I don't think that's necessary. But just maximizing her to 3 maximizes the scenario of this happening with Shadow Mist. So that's just one line. So we're going to get into another line that I think is just really awesome with Shadow Mist. And so that's just line number 1, normal summon Shadow Mist, and then mass change the Shadow Mist away to get our Ferris, and then we're off to the races from there. Another setup is Hero Lives and opening the mass change, right? So a lot of this requires opening the mass change. So it's very similar concept. Same concept is you just mass change into the Shadow Mist, right? And then no effect if we already open the mass change, and then mass change her away. Boom, we're on to the Dark Law. That's gonna maybe the attack defense, depending on if you're planning on bringing out the bringing out the Dark Angel to the opponent's side of the field. Attack defense, that's up to you, depending on what your inboard is going to be. Then you're going to play from there. You can add your Stratos and or your Ferris. So boom, that's pretty much a scenario right there. Then another scenario I think that is worth highlighting is especially if we already open, it's just so good, right? If we already open a Stratos or the Ferris, we're going to ignore the Stratos because the Stratos is always searchable with the Shadow Mist. But so mass change, again, a lot of it requires just opening the mass change, and that's kind of why we want it at 3. So one thing that I like is that it's just pretty much going to be the same, but we get to keep our normal summon is Ferris. We discard the Ferris in. Before you guys say, oh, we have to open what you're explaining, relax. I got a lot of, I don't know, I got a lot of, let's just say, passionate hero players who, veteran passionate hero players who, when I offer advice, they sour on me for one reason or the other. That's their business. That's up to them. But again, I'm just simply sharing information to those who might not be as informed, who are looking for ways to spice up hero again, especially in this boring Joe format. So please, when I come up with this, please take no offense, but it's just kind of like, just relax. You are going to open this. You are going to open Ferris because it's the 3 of. You are going to open Shadow Mist because it's 3 of. You are going to open A Hero Lives because it's a 3 of. You are going to open a mass change because it's a 3 of. So relax. It's not, we're going over multiple scenarios, and it's not just like, oh, this is specific. It's not that specific because it's a 3 of. It's a hero deck and it's a 3 of. So chill out. Anyways, so you open this hand, right? And you have a mass change. And we are going to go over a line where we don't have the mass change. But we go Ferris, discard the Shadow Mist. Here's a proper way to do it. Discard Shadow Mist and discard, special summon the Ferris. Chainlink 1 Shadow Mist just to chain block the Ash Blossom. They're probably going to, be fair, they're probably going to Ash Blossom the increase anyways. If they do have an Ash, they're probably not going to use it. But it's still like good practice because you're still going to add your hero. And at the very least, we're punishing Droll. I'd rather be hit by a Droll than an Ash. I'd rather be hit by an Ash Blossom than a Droll, in my opinion. So, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. Then we're going to go ahead and Chainlink 3, the mass change into the Ferris. So before the Shadow Mist resolves, and we're going to add our hero from deck to hand. Probably we're just going to go ahead and get the Stratos, right? Oh, and obviously we have to bring out our Dark Law. Boom, everything resolves. We grab our Stratos, and then we also get our increase to the field. And then now they can't Droll us, and then now we are just pretty much playing, get our normal summon that way. So here's probably my favorite play, right? This is why I saved this. We don't open up the mass change, right? Now, I know you guys ask, so what do we do in the event that we don't open up mass change? So what I had in mind was just one card. Hero Lives, right? So we have all these multiple ways against this, against punishing Droll now, right? So A Hero Lives, right? We start off with A Hero Lives, pay half our life points, and we don't summon Stratos anymore, I don't think. I think, especially if we open up Hero Lives and Stratos, that's another thing, right? So we don't open up the Stratos, but let's just put him to the side. We're gonna Hero Lives into the Shadow Mist. All right. Now this is called, I call this strategy draw checking. This is proper draw checking. Okay. So activate Stratos effect. We're actually gonna use Stratos' effect, and we're gonna add the mass change from deck to hand. Now, one or two things are gonna happen. They have Joel or they don't. In the event that they do have Joel, they drop it on us, right? We simply just set our mass change, pass over. Now, most decks that play Droll are combo decks. Something like a Kashtira is not going to be playing Droll because it conflicts with like their Arise Heart. So a lot of cases they're not going to be maining Droll like that. And they're not going to really, and it also conflicts with the Dimension Shifter. So usually decks that play Droll are themselves are ironically enough some sort of combo deck that also relies on their graveyard, right? And or they also don't want to be Drolled themselves, right? So we could simply just set the mass change, pass over, right? And then back to their turn, we just mass change, disrupt their turn. So we're going to play now. One problem you're going to say, okay, what if it's Dragon Link or Bestial or something like that, right? Dragon Link / Bestial, which because the Shadow Mist is a dark, they can use a Bestial, something like the annoying Magnamut to banish her and summon itself, and then run over the 24 attack Dark Law. So what we search with Shadow Mist is the Honest Neos. They're gonna have a really hard time getting over Dark Law. So they have to open something. They have to open a non-engine card like a Book of Moon, something like that. A Bestial is not gonna cut it, and that's gonna that's gonna disrupt their whole turn. And they're gonna have a much harder time getting rid of the Dark Law because we have Honest Neos in hand. And remember, this is only one card, so we still have 4 cards in hand, right? This is only one card. This entire setup is one card with a Hero Lives, and that helps us deal with Joel and Lockbird very easily. That's in the event that they do have a Joel and Lockbird. Remember, we still have 4 of the cards in hand. So we go back, right? Now we go back. Add the mass change. Now we check to see if they have Joel. Do they have Joel? No? Great. Now let's go ahead and normal summon that Stratos or like the Ferris or something like that, and search and just play, man. Go ahead and add the where's he at? The Ferris, and we're playing, and that's it, you know. And we still have the same exact Dark Law threat as we did whether they had it or not. So rather than like overlaying for a Baguska, right? Because now we have to normal summon our Stratos, right? Because this is way better than Baguska. Throw away our effect under Droll, right? That's a waste. And then overlay into Baguska only for it to get booked anyway. Look, if you're gonna book me, I'd rather you book my Dark Law. If you're gonna book something, I'd rather just Dark Law you and just completely shut you out from graveyard combos. I think Dark Law is better than Baguska, especially a Dark Law that is sitting on a Honest Neos. Potentially is better than a Baguska. It's a lot harder to get over, in my opinion, and it's only unique to our deck. So back to what I was saying, just to increase the scenario and likeliness, and the reason why I take out ROTA is because it plays an E-Emergency Call. It just straight up plays into the Joel, right? It's too swingy, it's too random, it's not even always good against us. That's the thing, but we want to punish it as much as possible, just as we do the Nibiru. I like the idea of 3 Shadow Mists. I'm gonna test it in tournament and see how it does. This reminds me of 2015 Hero. You guys remember that Hero in 2015, 2016, where you played 3 Shadow Mists and 3 mass changes? You guys remember that? And then like Dark Law was just everything. Let's just go back to that. Joel is an old card, right? And Dark Law punishes it. This entire line punishes Joel, and whether they have it or not, and if they are a combo deck that relies on the graveyard, even better, great, right? So I think it's important that we just kind of go back to that. I like her at 3. I like her as my new normal summon. I don't play in a Joel with Rota or emergency call just for this format until the annoying Joel decides to finally fall off for once and for all, be dead and gone. Sick and tired of looking at it. It reminds me a lot of Nibiru, how it just comes in cycles. Oh, they're playing a combo deck, Nibiru. Okay, now the combo deck just got smarter. It adapted. Now we fall off on Nibiru. Oh, because now we found spots where Nibiru is good. It's a cycle. So that's how I feel about Joel. And this is the way to deal with that, whether they had the Joel or not. Until Joel falls off, then we could play 3 emergency calls and Rota and all these different crazy combos. We could start off with the Stratos and stuff like that, things, and just go completely unga bunga. We have to respect the Joel, and that is what I think. And that's gonna be the end of today's video. What do you guys think down in the comments? Were you guys already doing this? I think that putting more focus onto this strategy is going to help us win more, going to help us close out matches more. That's what we want to do. But let me know what you guys think, and what are you guys trying down in the comments. You guys can even add more spice, such as the crosskeeper, things like that, to kind of expand on this idea. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.